Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
You're listening to Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Well, another IPO today. Of course, we've talked about the VC-backed Figma. We'll have more on that in our next hour. We talked about with Caroline
It's up 219%. Just
a little bit of volatility, too, in the session. But talk about welcome, right? A warm welcome, certainly to the to the public markets, I should say. Just yesterday, we had another IPO, Ambiq Micro, making its trading debut. Shares soared 61% in that first day of trading. It's been up as much as 34% in today's session. Right now, about a 15% gain. It's a maker of ultra-low power semiconductors for AI applications. It did raise $96 million in that upsized IPO. So let's get into it. The technology, the business, the outlook. With us in studio, Scott Hanson. He's the founder and chief technology officer of Ambiq. And as we said, joining us here at Bloomberg headquarters. Scott, your IPO, congratulations.
Thank you.
You did really well and continue to do so in a second day. About the outperformance, what about the business, in your view, can you tell the Bloomberg audience, justifies the performance and the reception that we're seeing in these first 2 days of trading?
I mean, look, I can't comment on day-to-day ups and downs, but what I can tell you is
I know
why,
you're happy.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you why investors bought into the vision, right? And our vision from the start, actually, from when I founded the company back in 2010, was to put intelligence everywhere, right? It was to take chips, take intelligence, and embed it in the billions of devices around us, in your watch, in your smart doorbell, in security cameras, and in everything. And in the last couple of years, it's really been about taking AI and breaking it out of the data center and moving it out to these same devices. So we do that by enabling lowest power chips out there. And I think that really resonated with investors. I think there's this belief that AI is breaking its way out of the data center. And in order to do that, you need to be energy efficient. That's what we've mastered over the last 15 years. So I'm taking all of this as an endorsement that people believe in that vision.
what's your moat? Because there is a lot of competition in the space, companies doing and trying to do what you're doing. How do you compete? How do you make sure that you actually have a moat here?
So actually, the company was founded out of the University of Michigan. So I did my PhD work there. We invented a bunch of technology that is now central to Ambiq. We've got a circuit platform that allows us to build chips that are 2 to 5 times more efficient than what's out there. We brand that as SPOT, sub-threshold power optimized technology. We could spend the next 2 hours talking about it. I won't bore you with that, but really differentiated and unique platform, patent protected, growing all the time. And what's really exciting is we now have a bunch more money to go fund the ongoing development of that.
What I'm curious about, and we talk about the semiconductor space all the time. There's a lot lopped into semis, and there's different kinds of chips, different types of chip companies. What is it that makes your AI chips different from what we're getting from the NVIDIAs of the world, the Intels of the world?
Most of those companies are thinking when they think about power, they think about watts and kilowatts, right? Watts and thousands of watts. We're thinking about microwatts, so millionth of a watt, and milliwatts, thousandth of a watt. So we're on completely different power scales.
So stuff that would go to smartwatch or glasses and so on and so forth.
Exactly. And there's a huge number of these devices. Even the likes of Qualcomm, let's say, who's made it big in phones,
right,
is still thinking in terms of hundreds of milliwatts and watts. And so we're yet below that. So a huge number of devices that want that kind of power.
10 years ago, when you guys were developing, or a little bit longer out, we weren't all talking about AI. It was certainly in our universe, but it's not like it is in the last 2.5 years. So was there a pivot in terms of what you guys were thinking about that your chips were going to do?
Yeah. And I'd love to tell you that I anticipated this, right? But I will say this. The company's name is Ambiq. Ambiq means ambient IQ, ambient intelligence. So it's always been about intelligence everywhere.
But what was the original mission?
And well, it was that, but it wasn't with AI. AI being this mathematical technique that we can use to really achieve intelligence. Previously, it was let's add sensors where there were no sensors before. Let's add a little microprocessor that can crunch numbers. But suddenly, what the world saw with the launch of ChatGPT back in 2022 was, oh my gosh, we can do some incredible things with these AI models. That really lit a fire under a lot of our customers because they thought, oh, okay, these tasks that maybe were accomplished by traditional algorithms can now be achieved with AI. And that was a turning point for us. So actually, we like to think of the company in 2 phases. A phase 1 was, it was really about extending battery life. We helped a lot of our customers in the wearable space, in smart home space, medical device space, go from a week of battery life to 2 weeks of battery life or 4 weeks of battery life. At some point, that doesn't matter anymore, though, right? And what they really want is they want to add more computation, more intelligence in that same budget. So phase 2 has really been about that. It's been about let's put AI where there was no AI before.
A big focus for us, and I know a big focus for companies that actually build technology has been supply chains, given the new tariff regime that we're in. We are expecting to hear from the president at 4 o'clock today when he is going to sign an executive order on trade. We'll bring you updates from that, of course, as we do get them. In the meantime, talk to us about how your business has shifted geographically. Has it moved completely out of China? What's the status there?
So if you were to look at our revenue from several years ago, specifically in our prospectus for the IPO, you would see that China represented a much bigger fraction of our overall revenue. There was a point where it was 50% or more of the business. What shifted for us was a second ago I said, hey, back in 2022, we started focusing on AI everywhere. Well, as we've focused on applications that valued us for that kind of led us outside of China. Okay, so we still have business in China. We still have a great engineering team there that works and supports some great customers. But the bigger opportunities for us at the moment are elsewhere. It's been in the US, it's been in Europe, it's been in other geographies outside of China. So we have some dependence there, but it's dramatically reduced compared to a few years ago.
Who are your customers? You keep referencing them.
So
we have this great function, I always like to say, a supply chain function. So we kind of know the input, the output.
Yeah.
It has yet to be filled in. So fill it in for us.
Yeah, well, we sell to anybody building battery-powered devices. Some names I can mention are Garmin. I can mention Google. I can mention Whoop, the fitness tracking company. A lot of these companies are building health tracking wearables. We've helped them go from, years ago it was basically a glorified step counter. These days they're almost doctors on wrist, right? They're really getting quite good at that.
Does Apple want to work with you? Have you talked with them?
I won't comment on that. We don't ship with Apple today. That's a tough prospect for a small company to take on. And so we've really focused on other customers that were more appropriate to our size. Now that we're a public company, that's something we can, of course, explore.
Yeah, so you could scale up if all of a sudden a giant customer came to you and said, we need your help.
And we've shipped more than 270 million units to date. So you go walk around this building, go walk around a mall, go walk around a hospital, you're going to see our devices in use. So we're out there everywhere.
I love it. I mean, you mentioned Whoop, Garmin.
Yeah.
Those are that's my world. But you're not consumer facing, so people don't necessarily understand that's what you do.
Like, what's something we could buy that Tim and I could go to the store and we'd buy? And
your activity tracker.
Yeah, go buy a Fitbit at the store right now, and that has our chip in it. Go buy any number of Garmin watches at the store, and you'll see our chip there.
Talk to us about technological growth. You mentioned Spot. We know Apollo is part of the program as well. When you look out in your pipeline and your ambitions, what do you want the processor to be able to do that it can't do now?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question.
Larger processors, wider market?
Yeah, so first of all, what we've always done, you hear about Moore's Law, right? Moore's Law is alive and well for our portion of the world too. It's not just the bleeding edge data centers and the mobile phones. Every year our products, the Apollo product line is our processor line. They're getting faster, lower power, more integrated. And so actually what we disclosed in our prospectus leading up to IPO was a new family we're developing called Atomic, and this will be our first AI forward product. So what we've seen is we talk to customers in the AR glass space, in the camera space, in a bunch of other spaces. They want more AI compute capability on device, and we've been doing that for years. But they have these really grand ambitions that blow my mind, and so we need to build a product that's going to take us there.
Meta Platforms, a customer?
I can't talk about that. That is a great company for sure, and I would say if you look at publicly available information on them, they have some crazy ambitions that blow my mind. I mean, they talk about what they want to do with those glasses. Just yesterday, Mark Zuckerberg was talking about super intelligence making its way out, and I completely align with that vision.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Come back soon. Scott Hanson, he's the founder and CTO of Ambiq, joining us.